Gregory Wright Common Approaches, audio set number 2. So now that we are down to it, we have finally made it down to the 6th and final track on With Major Respects, official LP. In this video segment on the playlist, we will be reading another production of unreleased work. This one in particular was a book I wrote for a history assignment. Though it will soon be published to YouTube, I will still read you a part of it. So here it goes nothing. 2000 to 2010 Major Events Fun Workbook, Gregory Wright. History is one of many subjects out in the world today. History is defined as a branch of knowledge that records and explains past events. Similarly, the subjects in history may change as time goes on. New theories may advance or they may change. From the course of this study, we will be discussing major events from 2000 to 2010. Also, we will be talking more on science and technologies, disasters, politics, music, etc. History, in fact, helps us learn and understand people and societies. It also helps us learn how to do things using some of the same tactics our past has developed. In the course of this study, we will be discussing the 2000s from the best of our knowledge, as well as studying some of the present and most up-to-date facts in history, all while focusing on the subject of history. About the author, Gregory is a 17-year-old student at West Monona High School. He currently lives with his family and has written many books. Greg enjoys school along with writing and history. Unit 1. General Studies of the 21st Century. Politics and Wars. Vocab and Terms. Politics. Activities, actions, and policies used to gain or hold power in government. 2000s was a decade with the start of the Gregorian calendar in the year of 2000, along following the closing year in 2009. 9/11 was a series of 4 coordinated terrorist attacks by the Islamic group Al-Qaeda on September 11, 2001. International relations is a field of study that covers factors and processes that affect interactions among states and non-states across national boundaries. Operation Iraqi Freedom or Iraq War was an armed conflict starting in 2003 following the invasion of Iraq that resulted in the overthrow of the government of Saddam Hussein, lasting until 2011. Threats in the 2000s. The 2000s was a decade with the start of the Gregorian calendar in the year 2000, along following the closing year in 2009. Many political issues were happening as well. Political issues like the voting of George W. Bush, the economy booming, and last but not least, the first major attack on U.S. soil, which was said to be the deadliest attack in U.S. history. As a major result, this attack was known as 9/11, which was a series of 4 coordinated terrorist attacks led by the Islamic group Al-Qaeda on September 11, 2001. Though there were 4 attacks, there was a total of 19 Al-Qaeda terrorists. However, as a major result, only 2 of the planes, American Airlines Flight 11 and United Airlines Flight 175, crashed into the North and South Towers, whereas American Airlines Flight 77 crashed into the Pentagon, and one of the major planes, known as United Airlines Flight 93, was flown towards Washington, D.C. George W. Bush. Born July 6, 1946 in New Haven, Connecticut, was an American politician who served as the President of the United States from 2001 to 2009. Bush was the 43rd president in office following Obama and Trump as the 44th and 45th president of the United States. As a young boy, Bush was the first child to George Herbert Walker Bush, 1924 to 2018, and Barbara Pierce, 1925 to 2018. Then came along his four other siblings, Jeb, Neil, Marvin, and Dorothy. In 1964, Bush attended Yale University, graduating in 1968 with a degree in history. Throughout Bush's life, he was very interested in reading biographies and other histories. In fact, when Bush was in office, he used to read the Bible on a daily basis. Before Bush was the president, he was the governor of Texas. Bush and his family will eventually move on, but Bush will always have a spirit of success. Similarities between the Cold War and War on Terror. While the Cold War ended in 1989, there came upon a new war, the War on Terror, which alongside happened in issue just shortly after 9/11. Along with the similarities between these two wars, first off in reason, the Cold War is commonly known for the era from 1945 to 1991. Moreover, the War on Terror is the era for September 11, 2001, when in relation many ongoing struggles hurt the United States and its allies. Furthermore, while the two nations saw many struggles, Al-Qaeda and many other governments, terrorist groups, had a major impact on international relations. In curiosity, international relations is a field of study that covers the factors and processes that affect interactions among states and non-state states actors across national boundaries. The Iraq invasion, starting in 2003 and ending nearly 8 years later, with the official site of 2011 comes the Iraq War, with the invasion of Kuwait, which caused the Persian Gulf War. As a result, the war had not become official until President George W. Bush significantly ordered the invasion of Iraq. Moreover, the U.S. forces led by Tommy Franks and the official invasion would later be known as Operation Iraqi Freedom. Operation Iraqi Freedom or Iraq War was an armed conflict starting in 2003 following the invasion of Iraq that resulted in the overthrow of the government of Saddam Hussein lasting until 2011. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for watching, listening to this final cast. See you next time on G the Writer Audio Network.